This is in response to Lawrence O'Donnell's segment last night on The Last Word, Monday, March 23rd, 2015. I can't even remember the title, but it had to do with the fact that Elizabeth Warren was endorsed yesterday by the Boston Globe in 4 separate articles, even though she has been adamant on multiple occasions that she is not going to run for president, and she, of course, has not then announced her candidacy. And so what we have here in the show, and I disagree with a lot of the stuff on it, is that Lawrence goes to point out that, oh, look at Hillary. She's sort of endorsing the same points as Elizabeth Warren. And yes, she was sort of endorsing some of the same points as Elizabeth Warren. But Elizabeth Warren is fervent in her belief, down to her core, that the average American is getting screwed. Now, Hillary doesn't seem to have that fire, so to speak, that Elizabeth Warren has. And that's why Elizabeth Warren gets traction. Now, the other point that I think that Lawrence was bringing up before I get into the guest segment was that, yes, it possibly would be good for someone to come into the race and challenge Hillary from the left to help her move further to the left so that a lot of these issues can be discussed. But what really upset me about Lawrence's segment is, number one, he had 3 guests on, and the one that was the best was the one I really had never seen on before. Her name was Anna Galland from MoveOn.org, very strongly put into the reasons why Elizabeth Warren should be the nominee and should enter the contest, even if she doesn't become the nominee, in terms of her speaking style, in terms of what she wants to do to help the average working American who has been screwed right and left by big banks, big business, corporate America, etc., etc. And even though Hillary is now moving in that direction, paying lip service to it, without a good campaign to run and without a healthy competitor to run against her, whether or not these types of issues will come to the forefront in the election is hard to say, especially if it's on foreign policy, because I guarantee you they're going to attack her on Benghazi, and they're going to attack her on the fact that Obama had a bad deal with Iran, if it comes through with that, and that she needs to renounce it and rescind it as soon as she becomes president, because Obama was only doing it for his legacy, and he aligns more with Iran than he does with Israel. So some of the issues that would be important for Democrats may not be as up front in the general election as they would be in the nominating process or the primary part of it. And so even though, as I said, Hillary's paying lip service to it now, a strong, dedicated person that would challenge her from the left would be greatly affect where Hillary would end up being. Now, Lawrence said on Anna Galland, as I mentioned, from MoveOn, who was very good in her discussion about it all. And then there was Howard Dean, who, yeah, he's a great guy, but he's already endorsed Hillary, so you can know he's coming from the other point of view. And then you had Sam Stein from the Huffington Post, who I'm not really sure where he's coming from on this, but he tried to jump on Anna because he says that Elizabeth Warren doesn't have any foreign policy experience. We got a year and a half to the general, more than a year and a half for the general election. She hasn't even announced her candidacy yet. A lot of the stuff is going to be bread and butter issues, especially in the primary season. So I don't know why he has to gang up her on that. And I want to bring another point there. Lawrence, if I had your fucking show, I would guarantee you that I wouldn't have any white men on. I would have women and men of color. And, yes, we'd probably have an occasional token white guy in there, but this would have been a perfect segment for you to have 3 women on, because you were talking about Elizabeth Warren and you were talking about Hillary Clinton. And so what do you have? You have 2 white guys, one of them who's already endorsed Hillary, and then the other one who's trying to gang up on, what was the lady's name, Anna Galland from MoveOn, because as of right now, we haven't heard much about where Elizabeth Warren is in terms of foreign policy, but that's not what's going to happen in the primary. So really had a great opportunity to do all that. Now, the last thing I want to bring up, and I don't know why, you know, your show was on for 16 minutes, and you had about a 2-minute thing in there about what Hillary was talking about in terms of income inequality, in terms of about stagnating wages and this type of thing. And these are things that are bread and butter for Elizabeth Warren. But what wasn't brought up in your whole 16-minute segment is there already is someone running in the Democratic, is going to run for president, who is a Democrat, who is just is pretty much in line with Elizabeth Warren, and that's Martin O'Malley was the ex-governor of Maryland. He just got out of being the governor this January or so. He has come out and he has written articles in the last week, I believe it was in somewhere in Iowa, basically saying that he wants to reinstate the Glass-Steagall Act. The Glass-Steagall Act is from 1933, where they said there had to be separation between a business investment and banking investment, and banks and businesses you can't have the two together. I don't know all the particulars, but banking couldn't invest their stuff, you know, in really speculative types of things. So he came out for that. He also said that we need to increase Social Security. And if he's saying that stuff, that means he's right in line with what Elizabeth Warren has had to say in terms of consumer protection, in terms of increasing Medicare, increasing Medicaid, increasing the Affordable Care Act, or making it stronger, making it better, making it more workable. He's also come out asking for an increase in the minimum wage. So here it was. Lawrence, you had a great show, and you had 3 people you bring on. Only one of them is a woman, but you're talking about 2 women. And in the entire time that you had the segment, you didn't say nothing about the fact that there already is a candidate out there who is right in step with Elizabeth Warren. So why don't you have Elizabeth Warren on and have Martin O'Malley on at the same time? See if they agree to everything. And if they agree with everything, why don't you ask Martin to go ahead and announce right then and there, and then Elizabeth Warren can go and campaign for him? Because I'm assuming that what you want is you want to have someone who will effectively compete against Hillary, even if that person doesn't win. That's what we need, and we need that today.